What's the most disrespectful thing someone did at your parents' funeral? My dad died last February after a freak accident at his construction site. The whole thing was sudden and traumatic, leaving us no time to say goodbye. My mom was inconsolable during those first few days. We all came together as a family except for my brother Kyle. He had been Dad's business partner until 6 months before the accident. Kyle had embezzled $80,000 from their company to feed his gambling addiction. Dad had to file charges and testify against his own son. Kyle got probation, but lost everything, including Dad's trust and respect. When Dad passed away, Kyle showed up at the funeral home acting remorseful. He even offered to help with the viewing arrangement since he knew Dad's preferences. We were all wary, but thought maybe losing Dad had given him perspective. Mom was medically sedated, so we let him help coordinate with the funeral director. He said he wanted to select Dad's burial clothes as a final gesture. He spent hours going through Dad's closet, choosing the navy suit Dad wore to Kyle's high school graduation. He even picked out Dad's favorite watch and the cufflinks Mom gave him for their anniversary. We thought it was his way of making amends. The viewing was scheduled for Thursday evening before Friday's burial service. Dad looked peaceful in his navy suit that Kyle had chosen so carefully. His wedding ring gleamed under the soft lights as mourners filed past. Mom stayed by the casket for hours, holding his hand one last time. I noticed Kyle hanging around the casket more than seemed normal that evening. He kept adjusting Dad's tie and touching the silk lining. He'd lean in close like he was whispering something to Dad. When I asked what he was doing, he claimed he was just saying goodbye. Something felt off, but I was too grief-stricken to investigate further. Around 9 o'clock, Kyle volunteered to stay behind and help close up. The funeral director appreciated the help since they were short-staffed that week. He had worked there briefly during college, so everyone trusted him with the building. My sister Amy drove Mom home while I finished greeting the last visitors. The next morning, we arrived early for the burial service at the cemetery. The funeral director approached us with an ashen face before we could enter. He pulled me and Amy aside while Mom waited in the car. His hands were actually shaking as he tried to find the right words. "There's been an incident," he said slowly. "We need to discuss something before your mother sees your father." My stomach dropped as he led us to his office instead of the chapel. He explained that during their final preparations that morning, they discovered something wrong. When they'd moved Dad's casket from the viewing room, it felt unusually light. The weight difference was so dramatic that they knew immediately something was wrong. Upon investigation, they found that someone had cut through the bottom silk lining. "I'm so sorry to tell you this," he continued, "but your father's body is missing." The words didn't make sense at first. How could a body just disappear from a locked funeral home? Security footage showed Kyle returning to the funeral home at 3 a.m. with a van. He'd used his old key from when he'd worked there in college. The cameras captured him wheeling something large out the back door. He'd literally stolen Dad's corpse in the middle of the night. Amy started hyperventilating while I called the police. We had to tell Mom that Dad's body was gone. She collapsed in the parking lot, screaming Kyle's name over and over. The burial service was canceled while police searched for my brother and Dad's remains. He had completely vanished along with Dad's body. His apartment was cleaned out with the furniture still there. His phone was disconnected and his car was found abandoned at a bus station. Even his gambling buddies claimed they hadn't seen him in days. We spent 3 days in hell not knowing where Dad was or what Kyle had done. Then the ransom demand arrived at Mom's house on Monday morning. He wanted $200,000 for Dad's safe return. He claimed it was payment for the inheritance he deserved. The note included a photo of Dad's casket in some warehouse to prove he had him. "You stole my future," the note read. "Now I'm stealing your closure. Pay up or scatter him yourselves." He gave us 48 hours to gather the money or he'd cremate Dad himself. The FBI traced the photo metadata to an industrial area 3 hours away. They found Dad's body in a refrigerated truck he had rented. Kyle was arrested trying to flee through the back of the warehouse. He smiled when they cuffed him, saying we'd never forget what he'd done. The second funeral cost $15,000 with all the additional security. We had to use a closed casket because of the body's condition. Kyle got 8 years for extortion and corpse theft. He